Lesson 1: Dealing with Unexpected Medical Bills.
Good afternoon, Anna. I hope your day is going well.
Good afternoon, John. I am doing very well, thank you. What topic do you have in mind today?
I wanted to discuss how to handle unexpected medical bills. It can be a stressful situation.
That is a relevant topic. Many people face unexpected medical expenses at some point in their lives.
Absolutely. What strategies do you use when you receive a surprising medical bill?
I first review the bill carefully. I ensure all charges are clearly itemized and accurate.
That is a smart approach. Understanding the charges helps in assessing their validity.
If anything seems unclear, I do not hesitate to contact the healthcare provider for clarification.
That is essential. Confirming the charges prevents misunderstandings down the road.
I also research the typical costs for similar services. This knowledge can help in negotiations.
That is insightful. Knowing standard pricing allows for better discussions with providers.
Have you ever encountered a situation where the bill was incorrect?
Yes, I once received a bill for a service that I never had. It was frustrating to rectify.
That does sound frustrating. How did you resolve the issue?
I contacted customer service and provided documentation to support my case. They rectified it promptly.
Documentation is key in such situations. Keeping records can provide necessary evidence.
I also encourage people to read their insurance policy. Understanding coverage can prevent surprises.
That is excellent advice. Many people are unaware of what their insurance covers.
What would you recommend for someone dealing with a significant medical bill they cannot afford?
I would suggest reaching out to the healthcare provider for a payment plan. Many offer flexible options.
Payment plans can ease financial stress. It allows for manageable monthly payments.
Additionally, exploring financial assistance programs can be beneficial. Some hospitals offer support for low-income patients.
That is a valuable option. Many people do not realize such assistance is available.
Have you ever sought help with a medical bill?
I have not needed to, but I know people who have benefited from support programs.
That is encouraging. Community resources can alleviate some of the financial burden.
What about using credit cards for medical bills? Is that a wise decision?
Credit cards can be a double-edged sword. They provide immediate relief but can lead to debt if not managed carefully.
That is a fair point. It is essential to have a solid repayment plan if using credit cards.
What about negotiating the bill directly? Have you tried that?
Yes, I have. Sometimes, providers may be willing to reduce charges or offer discounts.
That is a smart approach. Being polite and explaining your situation can yield positive results.
Have you found success with negotiation in the past?
I have. It may not always work, but it is worth trying, especially with large bills.
That is valuable advice. Persistence can pay off when dealing with medical expenses.
Do you think more individuals should empower themselves with knowledge about medical billing?
Absolutely. Understanding the billing process can lead to improved outcomes and reduced stress.
I agree. Education is the foundation for managing unexpected expenses more effectively.
Thank you for sharing your insights, Anna. Your experiences and tips are invaluable.
Thank you, John. I enjoyed discussing how to handle unexpected medical bills with you.
Let us continue to explore more practical topics that benefit our audience in the future.
Lesson 2: Combating procrastination effectively.
Good morning, Anna. I hope you are having a productive day.
Good morning, John. I am doing well, thank you. What intriguing topic do you want to discuss today?
I would like to talk about procrastination. What strategies help you avoid procrastination?
That is a great topic. I find setting clear, specific goals is one of the most effective strategies.
That makes sense. Clear goals can provide a target to aim for. How do you ensure your goals are realistic?
I assess my schedule before setting goals. Taking into account my available time is essential.
That is a smart approach. Planning realistically allows for better time management.
I also break larger tasks into smaller, manageable steps. It makes them seem less daunting.
I agree. Smaller tasks can help reduce feelings of overwhelm and lead to progress.
Another technique I use is the Pomodoro technique. It involves working for a set time and then taking breaks.
The Pomodoro technique allows for intense focus. Frequent breaks can prevent burnout.
Yes, I find that it keeps my mind fresh. How do you stay motivated during long tasks?
I list rewards for completing tasks. Celebrating small achievements keeps me motivated.
That is a clever idea. Rewards create a sense of accomplishment, which inspires further effort.
I also try to eliminate distractions. Creating a focused environment enhances productivity.
Completely agree. Letting go of distractions makes it easier to concentrate.
Do you have a specific place where you prefer to work?
I do. I prefer a quiet room with good lighting. It helps me maintain focus.
That sounds ideal. A comfortable and organized workspace can significantly affect productivity.
I also limit my time on social media while working. It can be a major distraction.
Social media can indeed consume valuable time. Setting boundaries is essential.
Have you ever tried to create a daily routine to combat procrastination?
Yes, I have. Establishing a routine lets me allocate specific times for tasks.
That is a helpful strategy. A consistent routine can provide structure to the day.
Are there any specific apps or tools that you find useful for staying on track?
I often use task management apps like Todoist. They help me prioritize tasks effectively.
Task management tools can enhance organization. I might try using one myself.
I highly recommend it. It allows for better visibility of tasks and deadlines.
How do you handle tasks that you find particularly tedious or uninteresting?
I break them down into smaller parts. Tackling tasks in smaller increments makes them more manageable.
That is a smart method. It can help mitigate the mental resistance to starting tedious work.
I also try to remind myself of the benefits of completing the task. Focusing on the end result can offer motivation.
That is a valuable perspective. Connecting tasks to personal goals can enhance motivation.
Have you ever experienced a significant improvement in your productivity after changing your approach?
Yes, once I implemented structured time blocks, I noticed a substantial increase in my productivity.
Structured time blocks can provide focus and clarity. It is impressive how small adjustments can lead to major changes.
What advice would you give to someone struggling with procrastination?
I would suggest starting with small, achievable goals. Gradually increasing complexity can help build momentum.
That is excellent advice. Progress, no matter how small, can lead to greater motivation.
Thank you for this insightful conversation, John. Your strategies for combating procrastination are inspiring.
Thank you, Anna. I enjoyed discussing effective productivity strategies with you.
Lesson 3: Managing notifications for better focus.
Good afternoon, Anna. I hope you are enjoying your day.
Good afternoon, John. I am doing well, thank you. What topic do you have in mind today?
I wanted to discuss the importance of managing notifications. How often do you switch off notifications on your devices?
That is a relevant topic. I try to switch off non-essential notifications daily. They can be very distracting.
I completely agree. Constant notifications can disrupt focus and productivity. What do you consider essential notifications?
I only keep notifications for important apps, such as messaging and calendar reminders. Everything else can wait.
That is a wise choice. Prioritizing what matters can help maintain a clearer mindset. Have you noticed any changes since you began managing notifications?
Yes, I feel less overwhelmed. It is easier to focus on tasks without constant interruptions.
That is encouraging. How do you decide when to turn notifications back on?
I assess the urgency of the situation. If I am waiting for something important, I may re-enable notifications temporarily.
That is a practical strategy. It ensures that you remain informed without distraction. Do you experience any guilt about missing notifications?
Not anymore. I have learned that my well-being is more important than responding immediately.
That is a profound realization. Mental health should always take precedence. Have you set specific times to check for missed notifications?
Yes, I usually designate 2 or 3 times a day. This creates a routine that works for me.
That sounds effective. Setting boundaries can help reinforce focus on tasks.
Exactly. I also encourage others to consider their notification habits. Awareness is the first step.
What advice would you give someone who struggles with impulse reactions to notifications?
I would recommend starting small. Try disabling notifications for one app at a time.
That is excellent advice. Gradually reducing distractions can lead to more significant changes.
Moreover, it can help individuals identify which notifications truly add value to their lives.
Have you ever experienced any challenges when switching off notifications?
Yes, initially it was difficult. I felt anxious about missing something important.
Many people share that concern. How did you overcome it?
I reminded myself that most notifications can wait. I focus on my immediate tasks first.
That is a great mindset. Learning to prioritize can reduce anxiety.
I believe it takes practice to become comfortable with this approach.
Indeed. It is about training oneself to recognize false urgency.
How do you find the balance between being connected and staying focused?
I schedule time to engage with social media. It ensures I remain plugged in without being distracted.
That is a smart method. Scheduling time can help manage digital consumption effectively.
I also advise limiting social media usage to specific times. It prevents hours of scrolling without purpose.
I completely agree. Time management is key in the digital age.
Have you experimented with any apps that help manage notifications?
Yes, I have used Forest. It encourages you to focus by growing virtual trees while you avoid distractions.
That is a creative approach. Gamifying focus can make the process more enjoyable.
Exactly. I find that it keeps me motivated to stay away from distractions.
Thank you for this insightful discussion, Anna. Your strategies for managing notifications are very helpful.
Thank you, John. I enjoyed exploring this vital topic with you.
Let us continue to discuss more ways to enhance our productivity in the future.
Lesson 4: The Great Debate: Print versus Digital Books.
Good afternoon, Anna. I hope you are having a pleasant day.
Good afternoon, John. I am indeed well, thank you. What is the topic today?
I wanted to discuss the preference between print and digital books. Which format do you prefer?
I strongly prefer print books. There is something special about holding a physical book in my hands.
I can understand that. The sensory experience of a print book is truly unique. What do you enjoy most about it?
I love the smell of the pages and the sound of turning them. It adds to the overall experience.
Those sensory elements are often missed in digital formats. Have you noticed any other benefits of print books?
Yes, I also find it easier to focus when reading a printed book. There are fewer distractions.
That is a significant advantage. Digital devices can often tempt users with notifications and apps.
Exactly. When I read a print book, my mind is completely engaged with the story.
Have you ever tried reading digitally?
I have. I use an e-reader for travel to save space. However, I still prefer print.
That makes sense. E-readers are convenient, especially when traveling. What features do you appreciate about them?
I appreciate the adjustable font size. It can make reading more comfortable.
That is an excellent feature. Some people also enjoy the backlighting for reading in low light conditions.
Yes, but I still find the glow of a lamp while reading a print book more soothing.
I can see how that might be more enjoyable. What about note taking? Do you find it easier in one format?
I prefer taking notes in the margins of a print book. It feels more personal and direct.
Many people feel the same way. Writing in a physical book creates a connection to the text.
Digital note-taking lacks that same intimacy. However, some prefer typing for efficiency.
Efficiency is a strong point for digital formats. They allow for quick searches and organization of notes.
True. They offer easy access to definitions and extra resources. That can enhance understanding.
Do you think the rise of digital books could affect the future of print publishing?
It might, but I believe there will always be readers who cherish print.
That is a hopeful perspective. Print books have a certain nostalgia that many people hold dear.
Indeed. I think libraries and independent bookstores will continue to thrive as community hubs.
I hope so. The tactile experience of browsing through shelves cannot be replicated digitally.
Have you ever visited a library and felt inspired by the physical presence of books?
Yes. The atmosphere of a library is calming and evokes a sense of adventure and discovery.
I feel the same way. There is magic in exploring different worlds through books.
What advice would you give to someone trying to decide between print and digital?
I would suggest trying both formats. Personal preference varies, and each has its benefits.
That is excellent advice. Experimenting can help one understand their reading habits better.
Ultimately, what matters most is the content. The story should resonate, regardless of format.
Very true. Thank you for sharing your insights, Anna. Your passion for reading shines through.
Thank you, John. I enjoyed discussing the merits of print and digital books with you.
Let us continue to explore more literary topics in our future conversations.
Lesson 5: Navigating Big-Ticket Purchases.
Good afternoon, Anna. I hope your day is going well.
Good afternoon, John. I am doing quite well, thank you. What topic do you have in mind today?
I wanted to discuss the process of buying big ticket items. What steps do you take when making such purchases?
That is an important topic. I approach big-ticket items with careful planning and research.
That is a wise approach. What is the first step in your process?
I usually start by identifying my needs and priorities. Understanding what I truly require is essential.
That is a crucial first step. How do you gather information about the item you want?
I conduct extensive research online. I read reviews and compare specifications.
Comparing different options is important. Do you prefer specific sources for reviews?
I often rely on trusted websites and consumer reports. They provide unbiased evaluations.
That makes sense. Understanding both pros and cons can help in making an informed decision.
Once I have gathered enough information, I create a short list of potential options.
That is a practical strategy. Narrowing down choices can make the decision-making process easier.
After that, I check for the best prices. I look for discounts, deals, or seasonal sales.
Shopping around for prices can lead to significant savings. Have you ever used price comparison tools?
Yes, I often use online comparison sites to ensure I am getting the best deal.
That is a smart move. Technology can assist significantly in the purchasing process.
If I can, I prefer to see the item in person before making a final decision.
That is wise. Experiencing the product firsthand helps evaluate its quality.
True. I also take note of the store's return policy. Knowing I can return an item if it does not meet my expectations is crucial.
That is an important consideration. A good return policy adds security to the purchase.
Have you ever faced challenges when buying a big ticket item?
I have encountered instances where the product did not meet my expectations after purchase.
That can be frustrating. How did you handle it?
I returned the item and opted for a different one after further research.
Sometimes returning is the best option. What advice would you give to someone buying their first big ticket item?
I would advise them to take their time. Rushing can lead to poor decisions.
That is excellent advice. Patience is key in making large purchases.
Additionally, I recommend setting a budget beforehand. This helps avoid overspending.
Yes, having a budget keeps spending in check. It provides a clear framework for decision making.
What about financing options? Do you consider them when making your purchase?
I evaluate financing options carefully. Low or zero interest plans can be beneficial if managed wisely.
That makes sense. Understanding the terms and conditions is essential before agreeing to any financing.
Exactly. Transparency in details helps avoid any unforeseen issues later on.
Do you think societal influences impact our decisions when purchasing big ticket items?
Yes, society often pressures individuals towards certain brands or models.
That is true. It is essential to remember personal needs first.
Have you ever felt swayed by popular trends when making a purchase?
I have, but I try to stay grounded. Focusing on my specific needs helps me resist unnecessary temptations.
That is a commendable approach. Remaining true to oneself is vital.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Anna. Your insights on purchasing big-ticket items are invaluable.
Thank you, John. I enjoyed discussing this topic with you.
Let us continue to explore practical strategies for making informed decisions in the future.
Lesson 6: Deciding when to call a professional for repairs.
Good afternoon, Anna. I hope you are having a lovely day.
Good afternoon, John. I am indeed well, thank you. What is the topic today?
I wanted to discuss decision-making regarding home repairs. How do you decide when to see a professional for repairs?
That is an important topic. I evaluate the problem first. Understanding the issue is crucial.
I agree. Assessing the situation helps determine whether it requires professional help. What do you look for in a problem?
I consider the complexity and risk involved. If it is a minor issue, I may attempt to fix it myself.
That sounds reasonable. Do you have specific tasks you feel confident handling on your own?
Yes, I can handle simple tasks, such as changing light fixtures or unclogging drains.
Those are great skills to have. However, what about more complicated issues?
If a problem involves electrical work or plumbing, I prefer to contact a professional. Safety is my priority.
That is a wise decision. Complex issues can lead to costly mistakes if not handled correctly.
Exactly. I also consider how urgently the repair needs to be addressed. Some problems cannot wait.
Urgency is key. How do you find reliable professionals for repairs?
I usually ask friends or family for recommendations. Personal experiences often provide valuable insights.
That is a great approach. Trustworthy referrals can save time and reduce stress.
I also read online reviews before hiring a professional. They offer a broader perspective.
Reviews can be very informative. Have you ever encountered a professional who did not meet your expectations?
Yes, once I hired someone based on positive reviews, but their work was subpar. It was disappointing.
That must have been frustrating. How did you handle the situation?
I communicated my concerns with them directly. It is essential to address issues for resolution.
Open communication is crucial. What advice would you give someone uncertain about when to call a professional?
I would suggest assessing their skills honestly. If they feel uncomfortable or uncertain, it is better to seek help.
That is excellent advice. Knowing one's limits can lead to safer and more effective repairs.
Additionally, I think it is wise to consider cost. Sometimes, hiring a professional may save money in the long run.
Absolutely. A hasty DIY repair can lead to further damage and increased expenses.
Exactly. What other factors do you consider before making a decision?
I evaluate the time commitment. If a repair requires too much time or effort, I lean towards hiring a professional.
That is a practical approach. Time is often as valuable as money.
Do you believe that regular maintenance can prevent the need for repairs?
Yes, definitely. Routine upkeep can minimize potential issues and extend the lifespan of appliances.
Preventive measures can be very cost-effective. I try to schedule maintenance checks regularly.
That is wise. Staying proactive helps in the long run.
Have you developed a maintenance schedule for your home?
Yes, I keep a calendar with reminders for tasks like changing air filters and checking smoke detectors.
That sounds like a useful tool. Staying organized can prevent oversights.
Do you have any specific maintenance routines you follow?
I check the roof and gutters regularly, especially before the rainy season.
That is important. Proper maintenance can prevent significant damages later.
Thank you for this insightful discussion, Anna. Your strategies for handling repairs are enlightening.
Thank you, John. I enjoyed sharing strategies and tips for deciding when to seek professional help.
Let us continue exploring more practical topics in our future conversations.
Lesson 7: The motivation behind supporting charitable causes.
Good afternoon, Anna. I hope your day is going well.
Good afternoon, John. I am doing well, thank you. What topic do you want to discuss today?
I would like to talk about charitable causes. What inspires you to support a particular cause?
That is a meaningful topic. I am inspired by a personal connection to the causes I support.
Personal connections can indeed motivate action. Can you share an example?
Certainly. I support organizations focused on mental health. I have seen loved ones struggle with related issues.
That is very touching. Experiencing challenges firsthand can deepen empathy and understanding.
Exactly. I believe it is essential to advocate for mental health awareness and support.
Advocacy is vital. How do you choose which organizations to support?
I research their missions and impact. I want to ensure my contributions make a difference.
That is a prudent approach. Evaluating an organization's effectiveness is essential for meaningful support.
I also appreciate transparency. Organizations that openly share how funds are used gain my trust.
Transparency builds credibility. Do you volunteer your time in addition to making financial contributions?
Yes, I do. Volunteering allows me to see the impact of my support firsthand.
That sounds rewarding. What types of volunteer work do you engage in?
I participate in mental health awareness campaigns. I also facilitate workshops for individuals seeking support.
That is commendable. Empowering others through knowledge can change lives.
I find it fulfilling to provide a safe space for individuals to express themselves.
Have you noticed any changes in your community as a result of this work?
Yes, I have seen increased awareness and openness surrounding mental health issues. It is encouraging.
That is a significant achievement. What motivates you to put in such dedicated effort?
Knowing that I can contribute to breaking the stigma surrounding mental health inspires me.
Reducing stigma is crucial for creating supportive environments. Have you faced any challenges in your advocacy?
Yes, there are misunderstandings and reluctance among some individuals. However, I remain committed to educating others.
That dedication is admirable. How do you handle pushback from those reluctant to discuss mental health?
I remain patient and listen to their concerns. Understanding their perspective can help bridge gaps.
That approach fosters meaningful dialogue. Listening often opens doors to larger conversations.
Exactly. I believe that everyone has the potential to change their perspective with the right information.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to get involved in supporting a cause?
I would suggest starting with research. Understanding the issue and its impact is crucial for effective advocacy.
Great advice. Knowledge empowers individuals to make informed decisions.
Also, I would encourage people to connect with local organizations. Getting involved at the community level can be very impactful.
Community involvement creates stronger connections between individuals and causes.
Yes, and it fosters a sense of belonging. Working together can amplify voices for change.
How do you manage your time between supporting your cause and other responsibilities?
I prioritize my commitments and set realistic goals for my involvement.
That is a wise strategy. Balancing time is essential for sustainability in volunteer work.
Thank you for this insightful conversation, John. Your commitment to understanding charitable causes is inspiring.
Thank you, Anna. I appreciate your passion for advocacy and the valuable work you do.
Lesson 8: The Power of Daily Mindfulness.
Good morning, Anna. How are you today?
Good morning, John. I am well, thank you. Have you been practicing mindfulness lately?
Yes, I have. I find it quite beneficial for my mental clarity. Do you engage in any mindfulness exercises?
I do. I practice meditation each day. It helps calm my mind and improve my focus.
That sounds interesting. How long do you meditate daily?
I usually meditate for about 20 minutes. It is a peaceful time for me. What about you?
I practice mindfulness through mindful breathing techniques. It allows me to remain present.
That is intriguing. I have read that such practices can enhance emotional health.
Exactly. Mindfulness helps in managing stress and reducing anxiety. Have you noticed changes in yourself?
I certainly have. I feel more patient and resilient. It is transformative.
I agree. Some individuals overlook mindfulness's importance. Why do you think that is?
Many people lead busy lives. They often prioritize tasks over their mental well-being.
That is quite true. However, mindfulness takes only a few moments each day.
It does. I started with just 5 minutes. Small steps can lead to significant changes.
Absolutely. I believe the key is consistency. Have you encountered any challenges?
Initially, I found it challenging to keep my thoughts under control. Over time, it has become easier.
That is a common experience. Mindfulness is a skill that develops gradually.
Yes, it requires patience. I often reflect on my day during practice.
That is a wonderful approach. Reflection can yield valuable insights.
Indeed. I have learned about my stress triggers through mindfulness.
Recognizing triggers is essential for personal growth. How do you cope with them now?
I pause and breathe deeply. It allows me to respond instead of react.
That is a valuable technique. Mindful responses can prevent misunderstandings.
Exactly. I apply it in conversations as well. It enhances communication.
I appreciate that perspective. Mindfulness can revolutionize interpersonal relationships.
It truly can. Many people report improved relationships through mindfulness.
Perhaps more individuals should explore mindfulness. It may change their lives.
I believe so. Social media is rife with discussions about mental health these days.
Yes, it is interesting to see how awareness has grown. Would you say mindfulness is trending?
Certainly. People are seeking effective ways to manage their mental health.
The rise of apps and online resources also plays a role.
That is correct. Technology has made mindfulness more accessible to everyone.
Which mindfulness app do you recommend?
I often use Headspace. It offers guided meditations that are user-friendly.
I have heard good things about that app. I may try it out.
You should. It can provide a structured approach to mindfulness.
Perhaps we can motivate our friends to join us in this practice.
That is a splendid idea. Group mindfulness can foster community.
Exactly. A supportive environment enhances the practice.
Moreover, sharing experiences can provide new insights.
I look forward to discussing our progress together.
Me too. Together, we can encourage each other.
Let us make a plan to meet weekly to check in on our mindfulness journeys.
That sounds perfect, John. I am excited about it.
I believe this commitment will lead to great personal development.
I agree wholeheartedly. Thank you for today's discussion.
Thank you, Anna. I enjoyed our conversation. Mindfulness is a journey worth sharing.
Lesson 9: Investing in experiences versus physical goods.
Good morning, Anna. I hope you are having a wonderful day.
Good morning, John. I am indeed doing well. What would you like to discuss today?
I wanted to explore the topic of investing. Do you invest in experiences or physical goods more?
I prefer investing in experiences. They often bring more joy and lasting memories.
I can understand that. Experiences tend to enrich our lives in ways material goods cannot.
Exactly. Traveling, attending concerts, and exploring new cultures create lasting impacts.
Have you taken any memorable trips lately?
Yes, I traveled to Italy last summer. The culture, art, and cuisine were incredible.
That sounds amazing. What was your favorite part of the trip?
I absolutely loved visiting the museums in Florence. The art was breathtaking.
Art has such profound effects on the mind and spirit. Did you gain any insights from your travels?
I learned to appreciate different cultures and perspectives. Travel broadens one's understanding.
That is a valuable lesson. How do you prioritize what experiences to invest in?
I consider my passions and interests first. I seek experiences that align with them.
That is a good strategy. Aligning experiences with interests enhances enjoyment.
Do you tend to invest in experiences as well?
Yes, I find great value in experiences. However, I occasionally invest in physical goods.
What type of physical goods do you find worth investing in?
I prefer investing in quality tools and equipment, particularly for hobbies like photography.
That makes sense. Quality tools can greatly enhance the experience and outcomes.
They really do. However, I still believe experiences often provide greater returns in happiness.
I agree. Experiences create lifelong memories, while physical goods may eventually lose their appeal.
Have you considered the impact of experiences on personal growth?
Yes, experiences often challenge us and help us grow as individuals.
Stepping outside of one's comfort zone is essential for personal development.
Exactly. Trying new activities or exploring unfamiliar places can lead to incredible transformations.
What advice would you give someone who is hesitant to invest in experiences?
I would encourage them to start small. Begin with local experiences before planning larger trips.
That is sound advice. Local events or workshops can spark interest in exploring further.
Yes. Each experience can lead to more opportunities for growth and discovery.
How do you balance investing in experiences with managing your finances?
I set aside a specific budget for experiences each month. It helps me plan without overspending.
That is a wise approach. Budgeting ensures that you can enjoy life while remaining financially responsible.
Do you think societal values play a role in our preferences for experiences versus goods?
Absolutely. Society often emphasizes material success, but experiences can be far more fulfilling.
It is important to shift the perspective toward valuing experiences. They contribute significantly to our happiness.
I hope more people consider this shift. Investing in experiences can lead to enriched lives.
Agreed. Let us continue to explore ways to share this perspective with others.
Thank you for this delightful conversation, Anna. Your insights into investing in experiences are inspiring.
Thank you, John. I truly enjoyed discussing this with you.
Let us keep encouraging each other to seek valuable experiences in life.